Welcome back, my friends. Bump charts are a great way to show rankings over time. In this chart you see a ranking of European countries based on the total number of incoming and outgoing flights. And with the ggBump package, it's very easy to create such a plot. Let me show you how that works. First, what you need to do is to read the CSV file from the GitHub repository of the Tidy Tuesday challenge where this particular dataset lives. You can find the corresponding link in the description of this video. Once you've downloaded the data, you will notice that the column names are terrible because they use all caps and we don't want to type like this all the time. So we format this with the clean names function from the janitor package. Next, you need to compute the ranks of the different countries for each year. So you take your data set and select the columns that you need. In this case, that's the year column. Then you need the state name column, which I rename as I selected. And we need the number of flights from the FLT total column, which I rename to flights. This gives us this data set. Next, we need to compute the total number of flights for each state and each year by using summarize to compute the sum of the flights. And of course, we compute this separately for every year and state. Since we need this data repeatedly, let us save this into a new variable. With this new data set, you can now compute the ranks by taking the data set and computing a new column which we call rank. This column is computed by the row number function. And yeah, this is a totally weird name for what this function does in the end, but that's just what it is and we have to live with it. Since we want to compute the rankings so that the lower numbers correspond to better rankings, we have to use the descending function. In there, we specify that the ranking is determined by the flights column. And once we execute this, we see that we get a ranking for all of those countries here. But this is not actually the correct ranking because we need to compute the ranking separately for every year and then we can save the resulting data set into a new variable. Now, since we don't want to show every country in our chart but only the, say, top 6 countries, we declare a new variable which we call max rank and we use it to filter our data set by those countries that in the year 2022 had a rank that is less than the max rank. Then we can extract these selected countries by pulling the country column from this dataset. This will give us the 6 countries that were in the top 6 in 2022. So we should save this into a new variable. Then we can take our previous dataset and filter it according to the selected state. Now we have all the data we need and we can start plotting. But before we do that, let us declare a couple of colors that we want to use. Here, we just use a couple of hex codes from the colorblind friendly Okabe Ito color palette. And we can even name the vector by the countries that are in our dataset. This gives us the following colors. Finally, we declare a new variable that we call description color, which will determine the color of all the text in the titles. Alright, now we truly have everything we need and we can start plotting for real this time. So we take our dataset, pass it to ggplot, and in the aesthetics we specify that on the x-axis we want to have the year, on the y-axis we want to have the ranking, and the color corresponds to each state. Then we can just add a point layer, which will give us, well, only a bunch of confusing points. Once these are connected with lines, everything will be much clearer. For now though, let me show you a cool trick with respect to this point layer. You see, in the final image we didn't have points, but actually lines that were connected. To create these little lines, just set the shape to something like the vertical line and increase the stroke. So now you have lines instead of points, time to connect them. Thankfully, we don't have to do a lot of work ourselves because the ggBump package helps us to create these lines. Thus, we access this package and from there we extract the ggbump layer. The only thing we might have to change here is the thickness of the lines. Everything else just works as it is. Once we execute this, we already get basically the plot that we want. But of course, we don't want to leave the chart like this. We want to create something pretty. So we start out by changing the color and setting them to our color palette. Since our color palette vector was named, the countries are in their corresponding color as determined by the color palette vector. Now notice that the y-axis looks like it typically does, which means that low numbers are at the bottom and large numbers are at the top. This is one of the rare occasions where you want to have it the other way around. Because if you're ranked number 1, then you're the best and you want your line to be on top. So we need to flip the scale here. And there's a really easy trick to do that. All you have to do is to add a chord Cartesian layer and in there you specify the limits of the x-axis, which won't do much for the y-axis. It just gives you a little bit more room for the colored labels later on. The true magic happens when we specify the limits of the y-axis and make the first coordinate in our vector larger than the second coordinate. This actually causes the y-axis to flip, so bam, that's very easy to do. Now, since I have already a lot of room around my lines, I tell Coord Cartesian to stop the axis expansion, so everything will be a little bit tighter. If you want to learn a little bit more about what these axis expansion do and why ggplot does this, check out the description of the video. There I have put in a link to one of my newsletter editions where I talk about this and show you how you can change these things manually if you need to do that, for example, in a bar chart. Now, since I have left room for direct labels, let us apply a theme to get rid of all the things we don't need because of this. First, we apply theme void, which will strip most of the stuff that we see here. Then we set the base size to 24 and the base family to Source Sans Pro. This increases the text size, which in this case only increases the text in the legend, but this will change soon because we're now going to add a couple of labels to our plot. More precisely, we add a labs layer where we specify a title and a subtitle. And before we add the other labels, let us get rid of the legend by adding another theme layer where we set legend position to none. While we're at it, we can make a couple more changes in the theme layer. For example, we can make the plot background a little bit darker, just a tiny bit, so it's not that very bright white in the background. And then we'll also set the color of the plot background to NA to remove the small border around the whole plot. Next, we can add a little bit of margin to the plot so that our titles are not directly at the edges of the plot. And we can change the text color to this gray color that we specified earlier to avoid using black. Finally, we change the plot title by making it bold, changing it to a different font family as an eye-catching element, and we can make it a little bit larger by increasing its relative size. Alright, this looks pretty nice. Now let's put in the things that are still missing. Here, that is the country labels, the axis labels for the years, and the rank labels. We can add all of this with a couple of annotations. Oh, by the way, if you find this stuff valuable, then let me know in the comments or hit the like button to support the kind of work I do here. Thank you for that, so let's get back to the text labels. The first thing we do is to add the year labels via annotate. In there, we're using text and we specify the x coordinates, which in this case are just the numbers from 2016 to 2022. The y coordinates is always the same, it's at 0.5, and also we have the same thing in the label aesthetic as in the x aesthetic. Clearly because the position is also the label for this very specific use case. So right now we get basic labels, but we can make them a lot nicer by changing their justification, increasing their size, making them bold, making them gray, and changing the font family to Source Sans Pro. Now, I told you that we can add all of the other labels via annotations as well, but I lied. We're not going to use annotate, we are actually going to use GM text layers. I hope you can forgive me for this terrible lie. To make up for it, let me show you what you need to do. Really, you just need to add a GM text layer where you extract the correct labels from the selected countries. But on the left, you clearly only want to state labels that are in the order that they are in the year 2016, because that's the order on the left side of this plot. So in the data set of that text layer, you filter by the year 2016. Then the only thing that you still have to do is to specify the label aesthetic, because this one isn't specified at the top here. Everything else gets inherited from there. And once you run this new code, you can see that you now have labels, but they're very ugly. We fixed them by aligning them to the right, nudging them a little bit further to the left, increasing their size, making them bold, and using the same font family again. Wow, this looks much better, and we can do basically the exact same thing for the rank labels on the right. So you add another GM text layer and specify its data set. In this case, you only want to have those data entries that correspond to the year 2022. Then you specify the label aesthetic, which will give you labels that are barely visible. So that's why you left align them, which makes them a little bit better to see, but we should probably move them further to the right. This makes them visible, but they're still very small. So we're going to increase the size, make them bold, and use our favorite font family again. And with that, yeah, we have finished our plot. Super great, isn't it? Let me know if you like this bump chart and don't forget to hit that like button. Now, if you want to learn more about ggplot, check out this video next. This will show you how you can create a great alternative to messy stacked bar charts. Or if that's not your thing, how about checking out this video where I show you how to avoid for loops and using functions instead. And you know what? This technique can also help you with ggplot, because I use it all the time to create multiple layers all at once. So whether you want to learn about ggplot or not, this is a great video to watch if you want to learn about the insanely powerful functional programming paradigm. In any case, thank Thank you for watching and we'll see you in the next video.